Hello, hello, hola. Um, we are here in the third episode of the Greencast World podcast. So excited to share with you all this information that make us feel very passionate. Um, here is my name is Anna. Here is Jihan.
Hi.
Hey. And today we are gonna talk about green thinking in the Hispanic community since you know already that Dihan and I were raised in the Latin culture. So we are going to share some of the information that we found interesting in terms of how the Hispanic community do in terms of sustainability, and also anecdotes about our abuelas, our moms, our friends, and ourselves.
Hi. Yes. I think it's a very interesting topic, especially with such a vast population of Hispanics living in the United States. And we know, there's cultural differences in everything and everything. And believe it or not, I think I don't know if I speak for myself, we did grow up with many green traditions embedded in the way that we did things. We didn't necessarily call them green. We didn't necessarily call it being eco-friendly, but there were things that were already there that we did every day. I found some information very interesting here to back up my thoughts, what I'm saying here. There was a study conducted by Johnson and Johnson Family Consumer Companies for the Care to Recycle program that they started. And on that, they found that Hispanic consumers are more steadfast than the general public in the commitment to recycling. Apparently, more than half, which is 53%, report that they always recycle at home, which in comparison to the average population in America, 46% say that they always recycle at home. And I think obviously it's going to vary by location. Also, it varies in anywhere that you go and from family to family. But I think it's interesting to see how much we do recycle and how much of a green upbringing we have. And I think when we look back, sometimes this goes back many generations. I mean, many of the Hispanic communities come from Aborigines. We have the Aztecs, the Mayas. We have all of these beautiful traditions, and they were at the center of living a zero waste life. I don't know if you knew, I found this super interesting. I don't know if you knew, but the Aztecs, apparently, they were so good at using everything and having no waste that they even used human urine. They used urine to, in the process of dyeing the textiles, like of the clothes that they were going to use, they use it as a sealant to make the color penetrate the fibers of the textiles. So people used to have at home, they used to have these big, pottery containers where they used to pee, and they used to sell it. It was like selling your pee was the thing. Obviously, we're not telling you go out there and sell your pee, because I don't think it has the same value as it did back then. But it's super interesting to see like some of this zero waste traditions go that far back in the Hispanic community, and that maybe that's why of the reasons why we do see a bit more of a green upbringing in many of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Super interesting, Jihan. Well, I think a sustainable lifestyle in general has been like a curve of many other things, like the economic curve. I think also the sustainability have experienced a curve. Like before, we used to be very resourceful because it was very difficult to find anything. So we will use everything. And then we start to develop some technologies that make everything more easy, productive, and comfortable. So we start like going down in terms of sustainability and start incorporating more single-use plastic products or other kind of materials that they are not that sustainable. Now, the many countries, many areas, and of course all the environmental crisis that we have is pushing us to develop other technologies that can be more sustainable. So we are like trying to go up again. So I think is part of the evolution of the society.
Yeah.
But as we said on last episode, sometimes when you are trying to have a better lifestyle in terms of sustainability, to try to look back and see what your abuelas used to do, because they will give you amazing ideas, more than the ideas that you can get reading magazines about new technologies or new materials. Just try to find out in your past and your family traditions what you can do.
Yeah, sometimes it's about simplifying things, like looking back at the way they did things before. We got so concerned about everything having to be new and everything having to be so clean. I think if you go back and see how they used to do things, many of those traditions can still carry on. There's no reason why they can't.
Super true. Today and at the end of the episode, we are gonna show some products that we use to clean at home. And continuing this part of the conversation we have, you can find in the supermarket one specific product for each thing you want to clean at home. Oh, if you want to clean ceramic, is this. If you want to clean glass, is this. If you want to clean, and so that make you to consume more. So I'm in the same page with you. So you can simplify what you have. That will make your life easier. You will spend less. You will feel more relaxed, because using 10 different products for everything you do at home, or even for your personal care, will make you feel stressed because you are running out of something all the time.
Yeah.
If instead you use one thing for many others.
Absolutely. Simplifying, I think that's the way forward, without a doubt. Yeah.
Nice.
Going back to the green, the living a green, sustainable life in the Hispanic communities, do you have any?
Yes, I have a few anecdotes in my family, but before, I don't want to skip something very interesting about Latin American countries and Latin communities in terms of sustainability. Let's say the dark part of this is the Yale University has a ranking of most environmentally friendly countries. And surprisingly, the Latin American countries are no either in the first 30 positions. The closest is Costa Rica in the 42.
Oh, wow.
So that made me think a lot. So I continue investigating, and the answer is simple: is low income, lack of resources, and the necessity to prioritize other things more than the environment. So the first, as I mentioned, Costa Rica was in the 42, Argentina was in the 43, and then it was Panama, Venezuela, Chile, Colombia, Uruguay, and none of them were up to the 73 position. So that's shocking.
It is.
But it's at the same time understandable.
It really, especially for Costa Rica, because Costa Rica is known for all of their environmental efforts and for being the most sustainable country.
Exactly. And I was surprised exactly because of Costa Rica. We always heard that, but the thing is, they make a lot of effort in conservation with their animals and with their forests and their beaches, all of that, but they don't have a very efficient recycling system.
Yeah.
So at the end, the conclusion of this this studies, there is many, is first deforestation. We always heard deforestation in Brazil, in Ecuador, in Venezuela, there is a lot of problems going on in the south of Venezuela with the mineral extractions.
Yeah.
They don't really care about deforesting our Amazonas. So that is the main reason, because of the Latin American countries are not that environmentally friendly. And the other one is the recycling system. As I mentioned before, we don't have money for that. We don't have money for that. I mentioned in the first episode that I used to do this like a crazy person, that used to bring paper directly to the paper factory. I used to bring plastic directly to somebody that I heard take it. So it's one person doing a lot of effort and investing a lot of resources for a system that is not really there.
I think when it comes down to it, and without getting too political, because we don't want to get political here, I think the problem there, it's not so much about the culture, about people wanting to do it. It's a lack of government funding and government resources to make things happen and to make things actually work. Like, as you said, like recycling is not something that is easily done. Being sustainable comes out of whatever you can do at home and be resourceful, because it's what you say, you might not have all of the options that you have in places like the United States. However, it comes down to, you can do all of these efforts, but you're only one person. And if the government doesn't have the resources, and you know, we know how we all know how we all feel about the governments over there. So yes, without getting too political, I think it's a lack of government funding and resources most of the time, more than a lack of conscience on the population.
I totally agree, but we don't want to get too sad over here. Some characteristics of our community that helps a lot in this matter is we are very social, and we are shameless, kind of, and we are very resourceful. So we don't feel ashamed to ask to a friend that is throwing away something to give it to you. Like, hey, are you throwing away that? No, give it to me. I would take it. I don't mind. So we are not ashamed to ask for something that is upcycled, because also maybe somebody that is listening to us don't know the difference between recycling and upcycling. Recycling is usually take a material and convert it in something else. So it's something that usually factories do, or an artist do, taking materials and changing the presentation to something else. But what we do when we exchange clothes with somebody, or we repurpose something at home, is upcycling. It's good to mention also some of the terms that we are starting
absolutely,
to talk
especially
about.
after greenwashing, that we discovered a lot of people didn't know what greenwashing was. So we're glad that we got that out there. My mom watched it. Hola, mami. My mom watched it and she was like, yo no sabía tampoco. So yes, there we go.
Well, yeah. That was funny, and it was inspiring, because it means that we have a lot of things to do here to make our friends and our relative more close to this lifestyle.
And I think another point you were saying, we're not afraid or ashamed of asking and giving. And you mentioned clothing, but it also happens with food. Every time you go to a Hispanic house and you have food, it's always like, llévate un poquito, toma, and there's always giving you some to take with you. And there's no way of saying no. You need to take that with you. And you know, it's normal. It's just the way it is.
Hey, let me tell you, when I visit my mother-in-law, at the beginning, I used to just take whatever she gave me. Now I bring my own my own container, because I know I'm gonna come with something, and I don't want to bring too much plastic home. So I just bring, like, shameless, I bring my own glass container and say, hey, you are gonna give me something, here it is.
That is awesome. That is excellent.
Yes, it is. Also, I want to mention, in my family, we feel so proud to share and in every generation to use the same baby clothes. I was talking to Jihan that my mom feels so proud to take a baby cloth from 40 years ago and say, look how it looks. It's like
just like
your
you.
grandma make it yesterday.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, exactly. Just that the baby is gonna look a little vintage, but and we do the same with crates, with toys. It's incredible. Also, toys made with wood that now are so trendy. And before, like 15 years before ago, it used to be like dangerous because imagine a baby hitting their face with a wood toy. But it makes us feel proud. And I hope every family can share that, because I also know people that feel ashamed to reuse things. It's like, no, my baby is going to have everything new. Because I want to, I don't know, it's like a prosperity.
It's like a status. Sometimes it's a status thing, like, oh, no, my only house new because I can afford it. I was like, yeah, that is cool. That is fine. But you can also reuse.
Exactly. That is the main point. I mean, I grew up in a very, we feel very prosper. I mean, I feel prosperity in the way that I grew up. And we were super used to that. We were super used to share everything, to upcycling everything. But I have seen a lot that people feel that reusing thing is like feeling poor.
Yeah.
Or it's not a prosperity kind of attitude. I disagree, but it's okay. I think reflecting a little more about the environment will invite us to return to these things that our past generations used to do more often.
Absolutely. Now that you say that, remember my son, who is now 15, he played with my brother's. He had these big trucks. They were yellow, like yellow construction trucks. I can't remember. Tonka, yes. So my brother had them, and then my son played with them, and they're still in my mom's house. So if we keep them a bit longer, who knows, maybe in 20 years time, then my son's son will use them. Who knows? We just have to keep sure that we keep them.
My mom has the ones that were from my brothers. And this is a comment not related with green or environmental stuff, but I remember, and a few days ago, I was sharing with my husband this anecdote that my mom used to put this Tonka, very big and heavy trucks in the cabinet or the shelf over my brother's bed.
Oh my God.
Sometimes they will fall into their head. So things that, I mean, we are not shameless. We are very social. We are very relaxed. And in terms of sustainability, that can help a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Speaking of sustainability, let's start talking about products that we use at home to clean. Last episode, we talked about some of the things that we use in the bathroom. Now we're talking about cleaning stuff, right? So should I get started? I'm going to start.
Of course.
I'm going to start with my favorite. So, and I showed this to Anna earlier, and she's like, what is that? I want to know. So what do I do? For starters, this glass container is where I get my yogurt. So my yogurt, I buy in glass container. And then after I eat the yogurt, I take off the, the labels, I wash it, I clean it. And then I have a perfectly fine glass container. And what I do every time I use lemon or lime or orange, any citrusy things, I use the peels. And then I put 3 parts vinegar, just normal vinegar, the white vinegar. And then I fill the rest with a little bit of water. And I let it sit for about a week. And then I drain it and I use the liquid to just clean my kitchen countertop. So I just have like a little how do you call it? A little spray container. And I just put that back in there. If I still have more here that I'm like, oh, you know what, I can still get a little bit more of that, I just refill it again, leave it a few days, and then I use this, and it smells so good because it just smells like nice and fresh citrusy stuff. You need to make sure that it's kept in vinegar now and water so it doesn't get moldy though. So you make sure of that. But I love it. This is my hack, and I love this to clean my kitchen counter.
I love that. And it's also good to find a solution to citrus peels because they are good for the compost, but just in a small quantity.
Yes.
It's not that the mix will get too acid. Well, I actually buy mine
In a tab.
as based on lemon as well. I bought it from Blue Land. They are a really nice brand. You should check it out. They started in Shark Tank. I don't know if you have seen that
Yes,
show.
yeah.
It's super good. So they started there, and I started using most of their products that are really good, and they are not too expensive. You can ask for refills and everything. They also sell like a little bottles. Many brands are doing that now. So they sell like a bottle, plastic bottles, let's say promoting that you can use it many times. But instead, if I were you, I would prefer just to buy glass bottles. But instead, because I'm very resourceful, I just recycle or upcycle one of the bottles that I used to use before. This, you just put it in, set it in water, and it will like dissolve by itself. It's great. They have it in so many flavors, scents. Some are for the bathroom, some are for the counter. Again, the marketing is trying to push you to have one for each of them. And this was my first purchase, but you can pretty much buy one and use it for everything.
Everything.
If you don't have the solution that Jihan proposed, that is even better. Even better.
Okay, so now talking about refilling products and stuff. I don't know if you have anything like this over there, because I didn't explore when I was there a few years ago. But this is, well, people who are not seeing this, they can't see. This is a company called Fill, as in filling, refilling. And this is a glass container that you buy once, and then you go to refilling stations, like the supermarket. Not all of them have them, so you have to go to certain places, and then you just hand them this, and they take this off, they refill it again, and then you only pay for the liquid. So the first time you buy it, you pay more because you're buying the container and the liquid. But then after that, just for a refill, it's, I think over here it's like £2 or something to get a full refill.
Wow.
You could do that. Or sometimes when I don't have the time, or I can't get to the supermarket that does it, I just buy washing up liquid in big containers and then just trespass it here. Because then it's not the same to have one big plastic container than have 20 or whatever small ones. So I can just refill this as many times as I want. And there you go. And also it looks pretty because it's, it's like, I don't know, I just think it looks pretty.
Super, super. I don't know if you heard about the brand noise that you can have in your cabinet. When another good thing about sustainability is when you use a lot of glass and you can see through it what is inside. It feels cleaner instead of having so many products with so many brands on it and many colors. It makes you feel overwhelmed. So of course that glass container is simply amazing. I use for my dishwasher, same brand as Jihan said last time. This is not in any way sponsored by Blue Land, but it's amazing. The first time you can buy this container that is refillable, and then the
little tabs,
the little tablets come in a completely compostable package like this. And it's amazing. I highly recommend it because I have been using it already for months and it's good. Not every product that is sustainable is good. So it's good to give you the time to explore. But so far this, for whoever used this washer machine, is amazing. What I do as well is since I have to buy in the restaurant big quantities of washing soap, I just bring my bottle there, refill it, and I bring it home, so I avoid to buy it at home. Now that you mentioned also that in supermarkets you can refill yours, we used to have that before the pandemic, but I think many supermarkets took advantage of the pandemic excuse, and they just took it out the refill stations, and now you can only find in small stores that can be a little expensive sometimes. So yeah, you gotta find your ways. I think that the recommendation that you gave to buy big presentation, yeah, you will find your own way to deal with this. So we are with you.
I am going to do one more. I had two more, but we already 25 minutes in. So I'm going to do one more. And it is all of the brushes that I use to wash my dishes. So I don't like buying sponges because sponges are made of plastic and you go through them like too many in a month. So I have all these brushes that tend to be bamboo, completely compostable. These ones are compostable. You have all the sizes that you want, and then this one's to clean in bottles. I don't know, I love them. They're so good, and they're very good to take out stubborn stains from like the pans and stuff like that. They're much better than using a sponge. So brushes is the way forward. Well, it's the way how they used to do it before, but it's still the way forward.
I love them. I have mine in the bathroom, but I didn't want to show it because it was already used. So I only have one, but I use one very similar, and it wasn't easy to find one that the bristles will be also compostable. Again, guys, greenwashing, be careful with this. Sometimes the handle is bamboo and you see it all brown. You see that it looks very sustainable, but maybe the bristles
which is why I have here a combination like this one. The bristles, they're not compostable, but these brown ones are completely compostable. So yeah, and this was an impulse buy. So yeah, do your research.
I know. And also when you buy it, you see it so sustainable, so good, and then it has a little sticker with a little plastic. And you say, why you do this? You read everything. But okay, I understand. We go step by step. And sometimes for brand, it's not easy to find solutions for that. Right. Eco bags.
Yes.
There is not the best solution that we can have in the future, but it's one of the most simple ones that you can use. It's the same material that you can also find the poop bags for your dog, and it's the one that I'm using for the trash that I cannot classify. It's not either recycling, it's not either compostable, so I gotta have it, and I use this one.
So for people in the UK, we get those free. You get them free, and they are for all your green compostable recycling things. You get them free. You just go online and you ask the government, send me some, and they send them to you, or you can find them in some supermarkets, but we get them completely free over here. So that's great.
Oh, that's great. Well, in another episode, we are gonna talk about compost because that is a huge topic. Yes, and it's amazing. Yeah. So I think we are
almost
last one before we run, because we are running out of time.
What do you have? Clothes. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep. This is no plastic, it's compostable. Of course, has microplastic particles. That's what I heard, but it's of course much better than the presentation that you can commonly find in the supermarket. I haven't tried the one that is in polvo. ¿Cómo se dice?
Powder detergent. Yeah,
I'm waiting to run out of this to try the powder, that it should be more sustainable, but I heard that can also mess your clothes because the soap goes directly to the, so I'm experimenting on that part, but this is a solution. It's called a drop, and it's in our Amazon list in case you are interested to check it.
Brilliant. Okay, so that is the end of that, and we're almost to the end of this. But before we go, I wanted to share another tip of the Abuela's Verdes tips. I don't know how we call it in the end, but that one.
Green Abuela advices.
That's the Green Abuela advices. Okay, so another one from my abuelita, que en paz descanse. She used to use papaya lechosa to tenderize the meat. And I actually looked, I was like, oh, okay. So I looked, so I can't really tell you the real background. So it says, if you use the papaya, the enzymes in the fruit will help break down the collagen leaving you a very tender steak. So to use it, what you have to do, you can do it many ways, but one way that my abuela used to do it, you cut your papaya tu lechosa, you cut it, you make a little puree, and then you put it on top of the meat. And then you can scrape it off if you don't want the flavor on the meat, but it really just gives it a slight little, the flavor is not strong. And then you let it chill on top of the meat for a few hours, and then you can scrape it off, and then you can season your meat, and you can make it, and it'll be a nice tender steak. So use papaya lechosa.
Wow, I heard that a lot, but I haven't tried myself. So I will probably. The thing is, I don't like papaya, so I'm not sure.
I don't like it either. Like, I don't like to eat it because I don't like the texture.
Like,
but it can work as a meat tenderizer. You don't have to eat it. You can just scrape it after.
You have to make sure your partner like it. So you can give it to him. With meat flavor.
Or find out if dogs can eat it. I don't know if they can eat papaya, but maybe you can give little bits after.
Oh no, my doggy, I mean, she is the less environmental friendly person in this or individual in this home. She only likes meat. It's crazy. She like her, I mean, we give her her dog food, and apart from that, she doesn't eat anything except meat. She loves it. If I give her a lechuga, she will look at me like, "What are you doing? I don't eat vegetables. Are you crazy?"
Giving her watermelon? My dog used to love watermelon.
Eddie told me she has been living with Eddie for 6 years, only couple with me. He said that she used to, but now anymore. She doesn't like any vegetable. But okay, we can speak about my dog another day. Her environmentally no friendly
problems.
I wanted to share very quick something that I was speaking with my mom a few days ago. She told me super excited, "Mommy, guess what? Now I am recycling or upcycling or repurposing the candles." My mom is Catholic, and she likes to use a candle every day or every week to, pray for all of us. And she found out that it was getting expensive. She is still living in Venezuela. In Venezuela, I mean, everything is getting super expensive. And she was so proud to show me that she was recycling the candles. And I told her, well, actually, Mom, I have been doing that for quite a few. And she was like, "Oh my God, yes, I know. You are now more abuela than me." So recycling candles, because they usually come in glass container, but there is a point that you have too many. So now it's a good opportunity to mention that now I'm using more a diffuser with little essential oils.
Yeah.
So we don't have to, I mean, I have a few candles, but I don't buy them anymore. It's just when a friend gave it to me, or actually my sister-in-law love candles and she always give me one. So I take them, I appreciate them, and I try to recycling as much as possible. So that was my abuela, no tan abuela tip.
Well, that is the end of today. Thank you very much to everyone who's listening, who has listened, who will listen. We love all of your support, and hopefully you learned something from us today. Anything else? Right. Right.
Thank you, Ihan. Again, I enjoy a lot sharing these things with you. I always learn something, and I enjoy a lot the experience to sharing this, and maybe change the point of view of someone in every episode. That will be the best gift for us.
Thank you, everyone. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.